Guru Hello, dear friends and family. I welcome you with a heavy heart for the memorial service of my brother Harpal Randhawa and my wonderful nephew Amer. Harpal loved Zimbabwe. He loved the people of Zimbabwe. He always had a smile when he came here. It was a part of his life, a very important part of his destiny, and he had to leave us here. Harpal was the finest brother any woman can have. He was a pillar of strength for our family. He was always there for me, my children, my mother, the extended family. When I hear hundreds of people talk such wonderful things about him, it makes me so proud of this fine man who was my brother. Amer was the most pure soul I know, the most affectionate, kind nephew. On the last time I met him, he came into an apartment in London, family place, and he called me Bhua, and he said, "Bhua, where are the biscuits?" I said, "I don't keep biscuits." He said, "No, from now onwards, whenever I'm in London, I'm in charge of the biscuits in your home." For me, this is such a huge loss. Life will never be the same again. My children are mourning him like a father. He mentored both Uday, my son, and Ritika, my daughter. They love him dearly. Ritika could not join us today. She's in London with her 2 small children, and we are all very, very sad. But today we want to say some wonderful things about him, honor his life, and say our prayers for the departed souls, love and light and prayers for both of them. I would now like Sean to say a few words, but first we are going to do a prayer, which is Akal, which is like a Sikh prayer where we are all part of the universe and we are appealing to the universe for the soul, the eternal peace for the souls.
I invite you to take each other's hands. Chant Akal means deathless, undying, angel of the soul. And I invite you to chant Akal for anyone that you're so moved to tonight, as it aids the soul to merge back with the divine in full and complete, and to let go of this earth plane. As we chant it, let us feel the hearts of all of the family and friends as well, that we may also feel that merger and connection to the divine soul we also love.
come up and say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us as we pay tribute to Harpal and Amer. It is the toughest and the darkest period in my life. The last few days have tested my strength, but I know they're there with me, guiding me through this. I was introduced to Harpal in 1988, December, and we got married in 89. We would have been married for 34 years this December. I always told him he was a lousy husband, but my best friend, my guide, my mentor, my guru, and the love of my life. He was my rock, and now is my guardian angel. I just wrote the note before I came, so it was quite rushed, but looking on the net I found a poem which says it so beautifully, and I'm leaning on those words. You're everything I wanted and hoped he would be. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because of you, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I'm sure it was meant for me to love you, and just as sure it was meant for you too. My greatest wish is to always be together, to find each other all over again, and know this is forever. So thank you for choosing me to share your life, and even more for being your wife. I always thought I won the lottery when I married Harpal, but when we had Amer, I felt we hit the jackpot. You know, Harpal, when we started life, he was a banker, and then he went into business shortly thereafter, and then into multiple businesses and lots of things and adventurers. And he always said I was an adventurer. I always used to get cross. You know, people ask me, what do you do? What do I say? Private equity, VC, banking, what do I say? And he always told me, say, I'm a firefighter. So Harpal, there's a fire. I need you. Amer, you're a precious gift, my sunshine on rainy days. The man you were blossoming into took everyone's breath away. You were mini Harpal and his shadow in every sense. Harpal was so proud of you, the man you were becoming. Amer, you embraced me. You dropped me to the airport when I went to Delhi 2 weeks back, and before you left for Zimbabwe, and you hugged me, and we kept hugging. I don't know, we kept hugging for 3-4 minutes, and I kept thinking, you know, people might think it was otherwise, you know, it wasn't mother and son. So I said, Amer, that's enough. I think it's over 5 minutes. I'll see you soon. I miss your embrace, Amer. I take solace in knowing we'll reunite one day, and my arms will be filled with you once again. And until then, I'll always hold you close in my heart. I know both of you would want us to carry on our lives. I know that. Both of you worked hard and embraced life to the fullest. Sorry, it's so difficult. You were both on a mission. And you were on a mission together. You loved every minute what you spent together. And for me, they both would want us to carry on our lives and know that, I'm sorry, words fail me. I will come back. I think, sorry. I'll speak again after one till I find my words.
Right, I'm not really good at saying something, but I felt like after our duty I should say something.
Sorry, sorry, I found what I wanted to say. I always remember these two men were on a mission. The incredible mission these two men were. They left us together because their mission is far beyond anything they hadn't already achieved in this physical world. Both of them had immense passion and desire for freedom and adventure. They were like twins. They'll always have each other, and we keep their spirit and memories alive and celebrate their lives every single day. Harpal, please know I'll carry on your legacy and finish what you planned and started. Amer, please know that I'll do my best and find the strength to make you and your father proud. And now I would like to show, it was Harpal's 60th in August, and he said a loving tribute to his father, which we're going to play now. Thank you.
Right, I'm not really good at saying something, but I felt like after our duty I should say something. And I just want to say I owe my entire life to my father and my mother, and you know, they really go the extra mile to indulge me in anything that I find, you know, passion for. And I'm just so grateful to be able to have parents like the ones I have, and especially the time my father gives me. I spend about 12, 13 hours a day talking to him on my call logs, you know, every 5 seconds when I'm driving, I'm always speaking to him. And, you know, whenever I call him, no matter who he's talking to, he'll always hang that up and call me back or respond. And, you know, in the mornings, no matter where in the world he is, every morning at the time I wake up, I always wake up to a message for him, no matter if it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., anything. He's really, you know, changes his life in every way he can just to accommodate me. And I just want to say, I love you so much. You're really special to me, and I can't think of anyone better to spend my life with. So, I love you, man. What's the matter?
It was only the night before that I had spoken to my darling Amer over the phone. Of us wanted. It was only the night before that I had spoken to my darling Amer over the phone. It was only the night before that I had spoken to my darling Amer over the phone. We spoke about our plans for the future, our ambitions, what the two of us wanted to leave behind, and how the two of us couldn't wait for the day we create the most wonderful family together. Amer was the most special person in my life, and he always will be. He was my best friend, my strength, and the only person who truly knew and understood me. I was without a doubt the closest person to him, and the love and care we shared for each other in the last. It was only the night before that I had spoken to my darling Amer over the phone. We spoke about our plans for the future, our ambitions, what the two of us wanted to leave behind, and how the two of us couldn't wait for the day we create the most wonderful family together. Amer was the most special person in my life, and he always will be. He was my best friend, my strength, and the only person who truly knew and understood me. I was without a doubt the closest person to him, and the love and care we shared for each other in the last 2.5 years takes a lifetime for people to experience. I feel so fortunate to have been able to be loved by such a kind, caring, and precious soul. Being loved by him has made me the most fortunate girl I could have ever been. He was my biggest supporter, and the person who has helped me grow the most and evolve into pursuing a life of purpose and meaning. He was a light and guiding figure to everyone around him. He was always ready to help anyone in need and had the kindest and purest heart. Harpal uncle and I also shared a very special bond for so many years. I, like many of his other nieces, would consult him for any important life decision regarding education, career, or even personal matters. He was everyone's mentor and guide, the wisest and most intelligent man anyone has ever met. He knew everything about anything and always found ways to challenge you intellectually by asking the right questions. I spoke to Harpal uncle the last time on Wednesday evening over the phone, just 2 nights before he left us. I remember clearly his words saying to me, "Darling Mira, are you still working hard? You will make us all so proud one day." These words have kept playing in my head for the last week and have given me so much strength and resilience. I keep remembering and cherishing the deep and special bond that the two of them shared. Every time I would call Amer before going to bed, I would hear Harpal uncle's caring words saying to Amer, "Sweetheart, good night, I love you." Amer would say back to him, "I love you so much, mate. Good night." Harpal uncle was not only an incredible father to Amer, but he was also a guiding light, a mentor, and most importantly, his best friend. He was such a loving father who dedicated his life to ensuring that Amer had the tools and guidance to navigate any of life's challenges. He was there for every milestone, from introducing Polo to Amer, to getting him to shadow him in his many businesses and ventures, to guiding him through the complexities of adulthood. I have witnessed Amer exemplify the values instilled in him by his father countless times. He inherited so much of Harpal uncle's discipline, work ethic, tenacity, humility, wisdom, and kindness. I want to offer all my love and support to my dearest Sean Massey and the rest of the family. You all have shown incredible strength and courage in this difficult journey of grief and healing. Sean Massey, I know that day by day you will find it within you to rebuild yourself and carry on their legacies, because you were and will always be an integral part of Amer and Harpal's destinies. May their souls rest in eternal peace, and I hope we all find solace in the memories we shared with them, the love that bound them, and the indomitable spirit that Harpal and my darling Amer embodied. The relationship that Harpal and Amer shared was truly special, a connection that has kept on getting stronger and stronger over the years, to create an unbreakable bond that will forever tie them together. It brings me comfort knowing that the two of them will always be by each other's sides. I will miss you and love you both immensely.
I'm deeply saddened by the passing of my friend, Mr. Harpal Randhawa, his son Amer, and his colleagues on Friday. It was really a very, very tragic accident that really shook me to my soul. When I heard the news, what came to my mind is, where is my dear Sean and the rest of the family? And I was in Paris when it happened, and I had to rush down to Zimbabwe to go and pay my condolences. Harpal was a great person, the most brilliant human being that I've ever met. Most of the senior people who have actually helped me in creating this group of mine were interviewed and heard by Mr. Harpal. Harpal is not only a friend of mine. Harpal is part and parcel of my family. I'm also part and parcel of his family. We were very close. He was my closest friend. In fact, just a week before this tragic accident, we spoke. We also exchanged text messages through WhatsApp. So my deepest condolences to our wife, Sean, and the rest of the family, especially his mother and the sisters that he left behind. What I can assure you is that I am now going to be deeper and much more involved in the affairs of the Randhawa family. Sean, you can always rely on me. We can't bring Harpal back, but we'll continue to pray for the repose of his soul. May his soul rest in perfect peace. May Amer's soul rest in perfect peace. May the soul of the management that lost their lives with Harpal rest in peace. Thank you.
Dear Sean, dear Randhawa family, on behalf of my family and all Zimbabweans, please accept our deepest sympathies on the loss of your husband Harpal and your beautiful son Amer. As a friend and investor in Zimbabwe, Harpal was unique. He participated in activities of business, social, and cultural at all levels, and at all levels earned the wholehearted respect of all of us. And for Sean, thank you for all you did to make Zimbabwe your African home. You and Harpal and Amer embraced us, our culture, our diversity, and even some of our idiosyncrasies with humility and understanding. Thank you, Harpal and Amer, for setting the standard so high and so bright. For Sean, we give you our love and always our support. Dear
Thank you. Good morning, Sean. Good morning. We gather here today to remember and honor the lives of Harpal and Amer, both having touched our hearts and left a lasting impact on all of those who had the privilege of knowing them. Whilst words will never fully capture the essence of their spirit, energy, generosity, and drive, we today come together to celebrate the exceptionally beautiful moments, the laughter, the love, that they brought to our lives. Harpal is a legend. He lived a life filled with uncompromising generosity, kindness, and a very deep sense of responsibility. He was always very busy, yet always very available, and never turned his back on a request for a call, a meeting, or an advice. His imprint on my family is immense, and he greatly influenced and facilitated the critical decisions of our lives for my family. Just to say, one day my eldest son, I come from Mauritius, Rehan, then a teen, he just turned up from school and he informed us that he had had enough of Mauritius and he wanted to go elsewhere to study and to complete his secondary studies. I was in shock. I was at a loss. I phoned Harpal, and immediately he guided me, phoned the schools, we made arrangements, and my son went boarding to an Indian college. I owe that to him. After that, Suhail, my second son, went, and eventually my daughter, Anya, moved to London, and together with my wife, now my whole family lives in the UK. He supported us all through, never ever failed to inquire about the progress of the family, and provided continuous guidance. Harpal has even mapped out the path for my youngest 12-year-old daughter, including her secondary school, her university. My two sons had internships in several companies thanks to the support of Harpal. Thank you, Harpal, for having always been by our side. His passion for Zimbabwe and realism was truly exceptional and left an indelible mark on both. He dedicated countless hours and unwavering commitment to the betterment of Zimbabwe and the growth of realism. In the corridors of realism, his presence was like a guiding light, illuminating the path towards progress and development. He was not just a leader, he was an inspiration to all of those around him. Harpal developed realism into a beacon of economic growth, a source of employment, and a driver of positive change. His vision was not confined to boardrooms and balance sheets. It extended to the communities that realism touched. As we gather here today, we pledge to honor Harpal's legacy by continuing the work he held so dear. We will build upon the foundations he laid at realism, nurturing its growth, ensuring that it remains a cornerstone of Zimbabwe's economic development. We will also carry forward his spirit of philanthropy and community engagement, striving to make a difference in the lives of Zimbabweans as he did. Amer. When I first heard of Amer and met Amer, I think he was in his early teens, 10, 11. I knew Harpal in 2008, 2009. And we witnessed Amer's transformation from adolescence into a responsible and admirable young adult, full of energy and very passionate. He was always courteous and equally generous. And I recall when my young Anya, 12-year-old daughter, who is an avid polo player, but is in the younger stages, went to Twyford in England to watch Amer train for polo. He spontaneously offered that she comes on weekends to groom the horses, familiarize herself with riding and polo training. Harpal and Amer both had an uncanny ability to bring people together, to create bonds, and to make every gathering a memorable one. There are many more moments like this that we can relate, and so many of these have resulted in impactful changes. As we remember Harpal and Amer, let us not only mourn the loss of their physical presence, but also celebrate the legacy they leave behind, a legacy of love, compassion, and the enduring impact that they have had on countless others. Thank you.
Dear Harpal, over 15 years ago, we embarked on a journey together with you as my boss and me as an inexperienced, rough-edged, and impatient young man. I was immediately struck by your extraordinary intellect and your zest for life. Our relationship evolved far beyond the employer-employee dynamic, becoming one of the most profound connections in my life. First, you became my guru, the best anyone could ever hope for. While most people list schools and universities in their CV's education section, I am immensely fortunate to be able to say 15 years of working closely with Harpal Randhawa. Those who know him you will agree that there's no greater qualification than that. Second, you became my mentor and guided my career path in ways I never dreamt possible. You believed in me when I lacked self-belief, saw my potential, helped me address my weaknesses. I'll never forget the 2 occasions when you offered me significant roles that I was very fearful of. I declined both, but you lifted me up, instilled belief in me, and walked alongside me, ensuring my success. Thirdly, you became my confidant and one of my closest friends. We joked that we have spent more time together over the last 15 years than we have with our respective wives. You supported me through my highs and lows, kept my secrets, and offered your shoulder. Amer, it's been a pleasure to see you grow up in front of my eyes. We bonded over shared life experiences, our love for movies, good food, and our penchant for lengthy conversations on absolutely mundane topics, which always left us feeling elated and quite scholarly after we finished them. Sean, we cherish you. You know I'm just a call or a message away. We derive strength from you, and we stand by you in this unimaginable pain. If anyone can rise past this, it's you. In closing, I'd like to borrow from a Celine Dion song that perfectly encapsulates my feelings for Harpal. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith because you believed.
As always, and we had not seen each other for quite some time. But Harpal, I mean, we've talked about his exceptional mind. It was a photographic memory as well. And he asked after the kids, how is Nandi? She should have just finished her O levels. How did she do? And Tamani should be in Form 3 by now. How is Maitas horse riding? And the little one, Mandla, it should have been his birthday just now. Or it should be the next month. You know, little details like that. And I think he was like that with everybody. He made you feel special. He made you feel close. You could be in that room and think that you were Harpal's best friend. And very soon you pretty found out that he was everybody's best friend in a sincere and genuine way. That was Harpal for you. Harpal had that great gift of connecting people. And he used that gift for this country, for our Zimbabwe. I don't know how many people he introduced us to. The dinners, as always, the phone calls, please meet so-and-so. I don't have time to meet them. Please help them in this way and that way. And every single time it was always about, Gerald, let's build this great country of ours. Let's build this great country. That was Harpal. All that time he spent just promoting Zimbabwe. Never mind everything else, it was just about promoting our dear country. He was a true patriot. Amer, I never got to know that well, simply because when I did get to know him, then he went away just before the whole COVID scenario. But I know that he was coming back to this country. He wanted to give back to this country. I know he's falling under his father's mentorship. And you know, there was great excitement, even from the polo side, Harare Polo Club, that the mayor is coming back. And, you know, we'll have at least one player extra for the season coming ahead. And, you know, yeah, that will never be. But you know what? I want to end by saying this. Harpal built a legacy in this country. He was a legend. And John, legends live forever. Please know that. We are here for you, absolutely every one of us, my wife and I, and the greater family. Thank you.
What can I say about my dear friend of so many years, Harpal? Even with a big age difference, Harpal is 15 years younger than me. We hit it off from the beginning, and once I embarked on setting up our own business, Harpal was the first to join as a partner and has been invaluable to me, to the other partners in making a success of Sabre Capital worldwide. My background was banking, commercial, corporate, retail, management, and Harpal and I complemented each other because he was incredibly smart with markets, with investors, with structuring deals, with structuring transactions, and with all the acquisitions that we did. Harpal was an invaluable and integral part of everything we did. Quite apart from helping me, I know that Harpal has helped and mentored and sponsored innumerable other young people. And every one of us is forever grateful to Harpal for what he did. Through all this, he had a good sense of humor. He had a good sense of fun. I loved his company. I still cannot believe, I literally cannot believe, I keep thinking about him, that he won't be there the next time I need some advice. But Sean, God bless you, God bless Amer, and God bless Harpal. May their souls...
My dearest Chiku Mamaji, I love you so much. My heart is broken and I cannot believe that you are gone. You were like a father to me. Your home was like my home. You have given me so much strength, wisdom, courage, and above all, love. And you've shaped my life and who I am more than you can imagine. It is the reason that I live in London and made my home here. You are a guiding light in our family, and it has been so heartwarming to see all the messages from everyone that you have helped, mentored, given your time to across the world, both old and young. Everyone knew about your business acumen, your achievements, which made us all so proud, but few got to see that gentle, sensitive side, that kind heart that we were so lucky to see. I'm so grateful for you, for being such a wonderful mama, for being such a wonderful brother to my mom. I'm so happy that we had these special moments together in the past few months in Italy, in London, with Alina and Leo, and you and me on all those car rides, talking about our life after so long. It was a real special gift. My darling Amer, I love you so much. my little baby brother. You always be a little baby in my mind. The joy of the family, the purest, most wonderful heart and soul. You've left a big hole in our family and in our hearts. There's so many things you still had to do, and there's so many things that we had to do together. So many things I wanted to do with you, and so much I was looking forward to. All the moments are flashing by, so many moments, but it doesn't feel like they were enough. The love you had for all of us was boundless, as we do for you. You will be in our hearts forever. And we will be together one day when it is all our time.
My dear Harpal, we met in the early 90s when we ended up as neighbors in Thurlow Square. And you, Sean, and I have been friends ever since. Amer arrived, and that beautiful boy made the Randhawas the most beautiful and glamorous family, if not in London, in Africa too. And I just want to let you know that I will miss you forever. I will miss you, dear Harpal, because you really are a brother and have always been one of my best friends. I love you, and I'm missing you right now, and will always miss you, as I will miss the beautiful Amer.
This was a poem written by Rob Hersoff for Harpal, and I think encompasses everything that Harpal, that all of Harpal's friends would have said about him, so thanks, Rob. Goodbye, dear Harpal. Goodbye, dear Amer. I loved Harpal as a brother, for he was that to me. He was wise and travelled, strong and brave, in his homes across the sea. He had a view on most things, and he was always there to share. His generosity knew no bounds, and I always had his ear. I could call him both day and night. He would immediately take my call. I knew that he would pick me up if I should ever fall. I knew him strong, I knew him slim, with turban and blue suits. His kindness and his humour, and his endless wisdom too. I never thought the day would come when he would not be there. I know when I see his loving face, I will always shed a tear. He loved Amer, his pride and joy, and everything he owned would he have given to see his son in his place wearing his crown. To the majestic Sean, please know from me, Harpal loved you equally. You were the half of that young lion that Harpal could never be. I miss him very much, as I know you do too, with all my love and friendship forever. Thank you.
Good morning. Let me start my testimony by focusing on the son I was asked to mentor, Amer. His free spirit and charisma were apparent to everyone to see, and it was an enormous privilege for me to be asked to mentor him. We've cremated Amer, but we did not bury his vision or his story. Amer is the future, and no one can ignore the future. To put this into context, I would like to summarize what Harpal told me just 2 weeks ago. Amer asked, why is there no private terminal at RG Mugabe International Airport to receive, park, and service private jets? And in a typical Harpal response, Amer, you have to build it yourself. The Minister of Transport has millions of requests and priorities to think about a private terminal. Then he went on, you do not expect the government to build a perfume shop, yet all the government officials use the perfume shops to buy gifts. These are not priorities for government, you must build it. Then Amer dutifully researched on the business case for a private jet terminal and secured prime land within RG Mugabe Airport. He developed a robust business plan that he personally introduced to Zimbabwe Investment Development Agency ZIDA on Monday 25th of September 23, 3 days before the Black Friday. My promise to Sean is that Amer private terminal will be built at RG Mugabe International Airport in his remembrance. We'll mobilize for this project. Now turning to Harpal, he was both family, friend, colleague, inspiration, mentor to my boys, and a brother. It is difficult to express the extent to which our relationship has impacted our families as we grew closer over the years. I want to tell people here we have lost a mobile encyclopedia. He is one of the most knowledgeable people I've worked with in my life. His intellectual curiosity and genuine interest in people and ability to hold himself with grace and dignity will be greatly missed. I would suggest writing a book about this phenomenal character, which is very rare on planet Earth, called Harpal. For the Zimbabwean business community, I would like to plan a public lecture on how to ride the tide of business environment in Zimbabwe, the Harpal way. Thank you for your friendship and loyalty. May you and Amer rest in peace. Thank you.
The Randhawa family, Sean. It's a very difficult day for my family, the Mutasa family, because Harpal was an integral part of my family through my wife, my children, but more importantly, as a passionate member of Zimbabwe. I think that's the one thing I will always take away from the relationship I had with Harpal. His love for this country. And as I got to know him better, I realized that for him it was love. He had the choices of virtually the whole world. For some reason, he chose to be part of the fabric of our country. And that is special for us as a family. A Sunday 2 weeks ago, we had lunch with Harpal and Amer. For me, I've known Amer from afar for the last 10 years. I was struck, and I think I said it to Caleb time and time again, this kid has blossomed. He has changed. And it's tragic that it has been taken, but he had changed. And I saw it, and I think everybody saw it. He was working hard to be the aide-de-camp for Harpal at the lunch. It was a wonderful day. It's tragic that that was the last time we all saw him. All I want to say is, please remember that this is your home, and we will always be there for you. And I hope those that have come for the first time do not stop coming. It's a beautiful place, and now you understand why Harpal made it his home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this time to give tribute to my brother. I'm wearing Indian and African because of him. But I always told him I am Indian and African and a few other things as well. In a world of fleeting twilight and dimming star, there stood Harpal, shining, surpassing by far. Bright and intelligent, a beacon so clear, his thoughts profound, his insights sincere, charming and polite, a gentleman true, his words woven with grace, his actions too. Astute in business, a strategist keen, treading path less walked, places unseen. With irreplaceable energy, he'd dance in the rain, pushing boundaries, dispelling every pain. Number one cheerleader in triumphs and strife, lifting spirits, adding zest to life. Dapper in attire, every detail addressed, a mark of a man always impeccably dressed. With boyish good humor, he'd lighten the mood, a jest, a joke, always wholesome and good. Proud father and husband, his heart on his sleeve, for his family's joy, in magic he'd believe. A friend to all in sorrow and cheer, lending an ear, wiping away a tear. All around, a beacon of light in every endeavor. His legacy of love will live on forever. In a realm of humility, Harpal saw the gold in every soul, taking precious moments to affirm and uplift, a gesture that touched hearts, making spirits lift. Yet in his greatness, Harpal remained so real. This isn't deification, it's just how we feel. And on Amer, he was so excited when we went to London to introduce me to Vali. Vali, he loved you so much. And he truly, truly was so proud of you. And I want to thank you for all that you did for Amer. And I want to just say, Sean, and to all the family, all who are now my family, and I'm cajoling and lobbying for them all to come back to Zimbabwe. We are here for you. Mama, Didi, thank you. Yogesh, just incredible. Thank you all so very much for all that you are. Thank you.
Uncle Harpal, just a few weeks ago we were sat celebrating your 60th. It was a privilege to hear what your close ones had to say about you. I knew you as my uncle, my mentor, and my friend, but I didn't realize quite how lucky I was to be able to call you all those things. Although you were the busiest man in the world, you always somehow managed to find time for friends and family, and that's what I admired most about you. I'm so grateful to know how proud you were of me. You sang my praises all over the world, and to this day I learn of so many people to whom you told my achievements. The most important lesson I learned from you was humbleness and most importantly, how to spend your time doing the most important things, such as spending time with family. Although you are proud that I was a soldier, you were also a soldier. You lived by the two most important values that made a soldier: loyalty and selfless commitment, dedicating vast amounts of your life to bettering others. You were always a phone call away for any problem I knew I had, whenever, and I know wherever you are, you'll be guiding us. To my big brother Amer, as I write this, I can hear your voice in my head and that laugh of yours. My brother for life, we grew up together, we played together, we fought together, we acted like an older brother to me and protected me and my sister. You protected me and stood up for me when I didn't have the courage to do so. What I loved more than anything about you was you had the cleanest heart in this world.
Your love had no bounds, and I was fortunate that you loved and cared for me. I have so many fond memories that I will cherish forever, be it the hundreds of hours we used to spend playing video games, or even the holidays we went on. But what I admired most was your ability to liven up any room that you went in and made every moment with you special. You were so young, and like your dad, you had so many more ambitions and goals to achieve. But we'll all remember what you did achieve, be it on the polo field, in the business world, or as a pilot in the sky, where you enjoyed the complete freedoms that the world had to offer. I know that wherever you are in this world, you're always there protecting us and carrying on with your adventures. I love you both. May you both rest in peace.
Good afternoon. Harpal was truly an amazing guy, and we've heard lots of stories about his business success, his social successes. It doesn't amaze me that so many people have attended today. I think he could host a party in every city and at least know a few hundred people easily. He was such a dynamic, swashbuckling person. Most of you will already have gathered that. But I thought I'd share a few very unique anecdotes about him, which hopefully we will all remember him by. Somebody asked him, why is your British accent so good? You grew up in Delhi. He said, oh, that's easy. When I came to the UK, my dad told me that if you want to succeed, you'll have to speak English better than the British. And immediately he told us he got the Debrett's Guide and learnt everything immaculately well and could speak better. And I don't have to tell you that. Harpal Randhawa, no. Harpal Randhawa. A very affected accent, unique. It's not Harpal. Harpal Randhawa. Very clear, very characteristic. And that was what made him. He dressed really well, always immaculate, or a lot of the time immaculate, with a suit or jacket and tie. Fantastic British, better than British gentleman. The other thing, I hear lots of things from people who are his colleagues, business partners, friends, but his relationship with me was very special and unique, and nobody can have that relationship, purely because of the fact that he and I were married to two lovely sisters, and they were a challenge in themselves. Now, this was kind of, I think I can say it now, but this was top secret at the time, but we had many cunning strategies and plans on how to manage them and manage or protect ourselves. And, you know, I remember early when Manpreet and I got married, you know, he wrote me and said, what should we do? How should we manage them? And one of the first strategies was, let's buy them a shop on Walton Street. That will keep them busy. I said, okay, Harpal, let's have a think about that. But honestly, Sean and Manpreet, two lovely sisters. Harpal was absolutely lucky to have married Sean. Sean always reminded me, Sean's a very strong lady, but Sean always has reminded me that you married the right sister. Just to say a few things about Amer. I mean, he was a darling, handsome boy, and he grew up, as we hear, to be really responsible. I knew him, obviously, from when he was a baby. He's brother to Zora and Pia, and I saw him grow up. I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time. We did a lot of family holidays. I saw him through all his phases, and he was a lovingly naughty boy, and he was naughty, I have to say, but he was so loving. And we would mess around a lot. We had a very special and unique rapport. I'd be driving to work, he'd be on the motorway, absolutely racing me right up my back behind of the car, and we'd just be playing around, always had fun. Yes, over the years, I might have given him a little ticking off, but he always had a lot of love and a lot of respect for me. But the one thing I will miss enormously is those words, Uncle Seiji, Uncle Seiji, Uncle Seiji, whatever. I mean, the way he referred to me, it was beautiful, with excitement, with love. What a remarkable young man. And so all I say is, for Harpal and Amer, I really wish that your souls rest in eternal peace. We are so lucky to have you in our lives. We're so privileged. Thank you.
My dear, brilliant, exceptional friend and his son, a young man with his whole life ahead of him, have gone, and I just can't make any sense of it. I know how privileged I was to have had such an amazing friend like Harpal in my life for so long a time. I'm grateful for the vast amount of shared experiences we had together, and for all the times he was there when I needed him. Like a number of his other friends, he was my first port of call when I had a serious problem. Only 3 weeks ago in London, just before he left for Zim, we sat together into the late evening, rehashing the past and discussing the future. Harpal was at his brilliant best, both uplifting and brutally honest. I will never forget. I guess at the end of it all, most of life is about the shared experiences and memories that we create with one another. So in that sense, I was extremely fortunate. A famous Persian poet has a saying, "This too shall pass." I think it means that the passage of time diminishes the loss. I hope this is true, as like many others, I feel Harpal's loss deeply. Dearest Sean, I can't imagine what you and the family have gone through these last few days. You've all shown incredible strength. There are simply no words that can deal with your loss. I just hope that the passage of time would at least soften your pain. We'll never forget either of them. May they both rest in peace together. Hope to see you all soon.
I knew Harpal from the time both of us entered the Lawrence School, Sanawar, at the age of 7. Our ties ran deep. Our fathers attended the same school in Pakistan. At Sanawar, he was a bright student, full of good cheer, humor, and maturity beyond his years. Despite his unparalleled success, Harpal remained a humble, down-to-earth person who always made time for his friends and family. Tarun Vora and I were his closest buddies, and we met him in India, UK, and most recently in Italy for his 60th, where I had a chance to meet Amer and spend some quality time with him. Harpal had a heart of gold, always there to listen, give advice, support, and put his resources to use when people around needed help. He was my mentor, my best friend, my idol, and my family and I will miss him dearly. While we grieve for the loss of our beloved friend and his wonderful son, we salute his success, determination, and courage. We are honored to have known him for all these years, and we are richer for it. May their souls rest in peace, and God give the strength to Sean to bear this loss of her Amer and Harpal.
Some events in life are just incomprehensible and irreconcilable, and the tragic loss of Amer and Harpal is one of those moments in my life as I feel so adrift and lost right now. You know, I met Harpal at age 6, and at the age of 16, he'd ceased to be a friend and transformed into a mentor. And for the last 55 years, I'm grateful to have had a great guide to steer my life ship. I remember how proudly he described Amer's incremental achievements in becoming a skilled pilot, a talented polo player, a hard-working farmer, a passionate software coder, and a budding businessman. Harpal actually demonstrated the art of living by achieving the impossible in the business world with his ability to see over the horizon while still maintaining a great sense of humor and always giving generously of his most precious time to all of us. And last but not least, his humility was his most endearing character attribute. On the occasion of his 60th birthday this August in Tuscany, at a lunch, one of the kids asked, "Uncle, why are you called Chiku?" So HSR smiled and without batting an eyelid answered, "Because when I was born, I was brown on the outside and sweet on the inside." Chiku, my friend, it was a privilege and an honor to have had you in all our lives. Till we meet again, farewell Harpal and farewell sweet Amer. Om.
Dear friends, I'm speaking today on behalf of the Sachak family. My wife Rashida is here, my son Riaz, and my daughter Fatima. Words cannot describe how I feel about the tragic loss of our dearest Harpal and Amer. Amer had grown to become an awesome young man. I actually cannot do justice in a few minutes to honor and give tribute to this amazing human being. I was fortunate to meet Harpal about 10 years ago here in Harare, and over the years he became a very close family friend. Harpal was very generous with his time. It's a rare quality. He gave you the gift of attention. Although he was incredibly busy, he made time to respond to your messages and talk to people. He helped numerous people through his connections, especially young people. You know, I was astonished by how many people he was mentoring. You know, you get messages now of the number of people. There's a quote that I picked up this morning. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we get.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dele Babade from Nigeria. I'm representing all Harpal's Nigeria family and friends. Harpal was recently in Nigeria to celebrate my 60th birthday with me. We were both born in the same year, and our sons were born about the same time as well. So we used to track each other. I think it's a terrible thing that has happened, but I think we should all focus on what he meant to everybody, the impact he had, and the memory and the legacy that he had. I wrote a few words. I said, Harpal used to jokingly say, Dele, I am more Nigerian than you. And he was probably right. I said Harpal was not just a Nigerian, he was much more than the Indian he was by birth or the Brit that he was by passport and manners. A few people have mentioned how British Harpal was. Harpal was a citizen of the world. And when I looked up the definition, it said thus: citizens of the world are independent-minded and are never afraid of exploring the unknown. They take the time to learn about different cultures and traditions. And I think that's one key word about Harpal: empathy, empathetic. We all loved Harpal, and I said some of the random words that come to my mind when I think of him are as follows: bright and talented, charming and polite, astute businessman, irrepressible energy, #1 cheerleader for all of us who felt a little bit less than our capability, dapper and well-dressed. I tried to honor Harpal by turning up in the same suits that we had made recently. boyish good humor, extremely proud father and husband, and a friend to anyone. And, you know, keeping the British theme as well, I would call him an all-round top man. Harpal was an all-round top man. This is not an attempt by me to deify or venerate Harpal. I'm a lawyer by training, and we're very, very cut and dry. But Harpal, like every other human being, was not perfect. But one thing is clear, Harpal was special. He generously and willingly shared his wisdom in many facets of business, family, relationships, and general life philosophy with all. He was an ever-present counselor, friend, and advisor to my family as we went through a number of medical challenges over the past 7 years. And actually, to be honest, coordinated, chaperoned, was a field marshal for my wife's treatment in London about 7 years ago. He was a mentor to all my 3 sons, and I don't know how he found the time to do it, but he did. And especially after I approached him, seeing the excellent job he had done with Amer. He was also mentoring many more people who I didn't even know. I've only just found out in the last week or so as various people have reached out to me. To Sean and the family, my most sincere condolences to you on the loss of Amer and Harpal. May both their souls rest in peace, and hard as it may be, I hope you'll take some comfort in knowing the huge impact that Harpal had on the lives of many people, and that he will continue to be an inspiration to us. We have to figure out I'll speak to Mr. Dangote, but we have to figure out, at least within the context of Africa, how we can make that legacy live on. Whether it's an Harpal Randhawa Foundation or whatever, we will find a way. His legacy and his accomplishments will definitely live on. And finally, in closing, I have also in the last few years suffered the loss of beloved family members. I lost a younger sister, which was a horrible thing to happen. But I found some comfort in this quote from Joe Biden when he wrote about the loss of his own son, Bo. He says, "There will come a day, I promise you, when the thoughts of your son or daughter or your wife or your husband brings a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. It will happen. My prayer for you is that day will come sooner rather than later." Thank you very much.
Uncle Harpal and Amer, 2 people who filled any room when they entered, 2 people who within an instant could make you both laugh your longest, deepest laugh and motivate you to pursue your greatest ambitions. Uncle Harpal was a pillar of wisdom to each of us who knew him. He embraced life, and not just that, he taught each and every one of us how to embrace it too. Any interest, any passion, Uncle Harpal was the first to help you follow. Academic, professional, personal, any question you had, he was the first and only call you really needed to make. And Amer, my perfect older brother. I laughed with you, I cried with you, I celebrated with you, I fought with you. Amer, I looked up to you with a reverence that my words will hardly capture. When we were younger, I tried to mimic Amer's every move, from the mundane to the profound. Amer wanted chocolate ice cream, so did I. Amer loved Star Wars, apparently I did too. Even as young adults, I still looked up to Amer. But now I realize it's his character that I wanted to emulate. His generosity, his fearlessness, his compassion, his discipline, his ability to act on his ambitions, his willingness to do anything and everything for those he loved. I could go on listing so many more traits. But where most of us can only identify with maybe one, maybe two of these, Amer was very special. Why? Because he had them all. Characteristics that for most take a whole lifetime to discover, learn, and implement, Amer possessed so naturally. And yes, Uncle Harpal was one huge part of that equation. And my dearest Sean, Marcy, you were the other. Amer and Uncle Harpal, it's so painful for us to actually accept that you have left us. But Marcy, you said it perfectly. These men were on a mission, one far greater for us to comprehend. And right now, I can only say thank you. Thank you to my two greatest teachers, my two greatest guides. Thank you to my family. Rest in peace, Uncle Harpal. Rest in peace, Amer.
My name is Sam Abood, and I've known Harpal for almost 22 years. He's not only been a big part of my life and my family life, he's been a true friend who's full of life, who's really set an inspiration for all of us. I'm not doing this message to discuss the strategy that happened last Friday, but really to celebrate the life that he lived. Harpal always described himself as an adventurer who really lived every day, every moment to the fullest. He is the most generous person I have met, who always went out of his way to be helpful, to respond, to be there for his friends and family. He was very, very proud of his son, Amer, and it's a big tragedy to lose him. But Amer was even more proud of his father, and they always belonged together. They were one soul. And, Harpal was even more proud of Sean and what the family has achieved. And his memory will always be with us. His words of wisdom, his compassion, and really, we will not forget what he's done for us, and his spirit will always live in our hearts, in our minds. And we're here for you, Sean, for your family, and we're really still in disbelief.
Hello, my name is Mark Harms. I've been a YPO Forum brother with Harpal for the last 20 years. All of us are devastated and heartbroken by what happened to Harpal and Amer. Harpal was the originator of the Forum almost 20 years ago and the glue that held it together. He was an incredibly generous person with his time, his wisdom, his insights, both inside and outside of the Forum meetings. We are all able to see at least part of Harpal's world through his eyes with our Forum retreats to one of your many fabulous houses. By last count, including Cape Town, Kenya, Tuscany, Switzerland, to name a few, plus your beautiful home in London. Harpal was amazing at keeping in touch with all of us at all hours of the day and night, helping literally all of us with issues, big, small, and complex. He had a great gift for taking complex concepts and distilling them into simple action items with deep insight. We all agree Harpal was the most interesting person we've all met. He was the international man of mystery, with an incredible life as an entrepreneur, and by his own admission, an adventurer. He lived life to the fullest. He was always upbeat, even in the face of stiff adversity. We had the pleasure to get to know Amer in Wellington, Florida, and take him under our wing for a little bit of time. It is incredibly sad that he has departed with Harpal. The two really were soulmates in addition to father and son, and we are so devastated by loss of both of them. We loved Harpal with all our hearts, and Amer, and we hope, Sean, that in some way we can help you recover from this tragedy. All our love, Lindsay and Mark, as well as the rest of the forum. Thank you.
Dearest Sean, I have been struggling for some time to bring myself to say something about Harpal, about Amer, about you, about Devinderji, about Chand Aunty. And it has been very hard to try and say something. So I'm just going to say what comes in my mind. And I hope it gives you comfort. I have heard, I have listened, I have thought about all the wonderful things that have been said about Harpal in the eulogies and in the birthday and all of the messages and heartfelt condolences that have come through reflects the fine man, human being, father, son, husband, loving brother, how he meant what to everybody. I don't know what I could add to give you more comfort or to praise him more than that has been said. But one thing comes to my mind, and that is children. Harpal was not just generous with his affection, with his feelings, with his love for his friends, his colleagues, his partners, but he was so affectionate, loving and caring to all the children of his dear friends, and certainly of mine. You were there on the night of the 11th of September in London when we had dinner together. As Harpal got to know my children, I didn't get to spend as much time as he did. That is my loss. But I saw in those few moments, in those days that I was with you all, how loving, caring, respectful he was. And may, as we say, Godspeed on your next journey, and may you be with the Almighty. And may Rab Rakha. God bless you.
Good day, friends, the Randhawa family, and especially Sean. I've been privileged to be asked to say a few words about Harpal, who I first met in the latter stages of my stint, 5-year stint as mayor of Harare, and at that same time I was at the tail end of my stint as chairman of Old Mutual. And I met Harpal at a time when he had just started making an investment in Rio Zim, which was having its own problems. And what strengthened our relationship was the institutional memory that, well, I had, having been an attorney for Rio Tinto, the precursor to Rio Zim. And Harpal and I struck a chord. You know, we resonated on so many fronts. He had an amazing grasp for issues, and as Zimbabweans, we are eternally indebted to him because if it wasn't for his timely intervention, the prospect of that Rio Zim would not be here today. So Sean, we're eternally grateful to your late husband and his team. Harpal had really become more Zimbabwean than most of us. He was a Zimbabwean by osmosis, and he followed through on all the commitments that he made. And there are a lot of hard issues and discussions that we had behind the scenes, but I'm pleased to say that they were all amicably resolved, you know, because Old Mutual was one of the institutional investors in Rio Zim. And if it hadn't been for the collaboration that was put in place between Old Mutual and Harpal's investment vehicle, as I said earlier, Rio Zim would have gone under. There's no doubt about that. So over the years, our relationship strengthened on account of many interests and passions that we shared. He was a very passionate student of history, and as Gerald Mlodwa said, he had a phenomenally retentive memory. In the course of many discussions that we had usually over dinner, he remembered that my mother was closer from the Eastern Cape. And before I knew it, Harpal bought me a 900-page book setting out in graphic detail how the Bantu originally came from somewhere around Cameroon, next door to Nigeria, and trekked all the way to the Eastern Cape. I was very touched by this gesture. And he, of course, developed a very close relationship with my now late wife, Figile, and helped to mentor our two sons. And mentoring your own children is not easy. And Harpal came in as more than a godsend in terms of mentoring our two sons. And I'm pleased to say that my elder son is part of the Rio Zim group as part of the internal audit team. And Amer, when he was maybe around 10, we used to sit out at your lovely home, Sean, and talk about cricket, amongst other things, you know, because he's very passionate about sport. So from a business perspective, mainly the extractive industry, we have lost an iconic person. But what is a source of major comfort is that Harpal left an indelible imprint on the extractive industry in Zimbabwe. And we were cheerfully hoping that Amer was going to follow his father's footsteps. But God had another plan for the two of them. So all I would like to say is thank you, Harpal, for all that you did in your adopted country. And thank you for all the support that you gave me when I lost my wife in March last year. And may your respective souls rest in peace. Thank you.
Friends and family, good morning on this sad occasion. When I learned about the crash, I refused to believe that Harpal and Amer were on that plane. I sent Harpal a message. Harpal, talk to me. There was no reply. But his wise words of friendship will always remain with me. Harpal quietly and confidently stood out as a true beacon of humanity. Amer, at just 22, was diligently groomed to further and complete his father's path. Some years ago, Harpal shared how he and Sean would prioritize their emotional, intellectual, and moral energy on Amer. Harpal and Sean's love and devotion helped mold Amer into the man he became, an independent thinker, capable, loving, and astutely goal-oriented. I remember that on starting his pilot training, Amer confidently told me that he would someday fly me to Leopard Rock. Amer, I so wish you could. Harpal was a fixer. He was gifted with piercing empathy. He would touch your soul, sense your pain, take on your troubles, and lighten your load. Many of us were fortunate enough to hear his reassuring refrain. He would simply say, "Leave it to me." Harpal made the world his oyster. As we saw today, great men and women took pride in their friendship with him. Without false humility, I wondered why I deserved any of his time. As I got to know him better, I learned why. To Harpal, titles, wealth, and status were inconsequential. He was interested and intrigued by the powerful and the powerless alike, using one criterion, the person's heart and soul. Harpal was genuinely interested in people, always seeing the best in them. He would effusively extol their virtues when speaking to them and of them. His Socratic approach to solving problems, be they his own or that of others, created the enigmatic clarity we will all miss. The loss of Harpal and Amer is a shock to all of us. To Sean, a loving wife and mother, and a steadfast compass, it is unfathomable and incomprehensible. Sean, I pray that your grief and your sorrow are healed by the memories of their boundless determination. I hope that you will, in your own way, draw strength from completing their missions. Missions they were so excited about and tragically robbed of their chance to complete. To Harpal's mother, I wish I had words that could give you solace. I can only hope that the pain of losing a son and a grandson who gave so much and had so much promise will in time be softened by cherished memories. For all of us who loved Harpal and Amer, just as we mourn their loss, we must also be grateful for the blessing and good fortune of having had them in our lives. May their memory be an everlasting comfort to us all.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place.
I want to start by saying that in you, I've lost my brother. You were my brain extension and my daily dose of stimulant. There's hardly a day when we didn't exchange views on something or the other. Despite my not knowing where you were or what part of the world you were in, because you were always some new place. We connected at an emotion and intellectual level and thoroughly enjoyed each other's company. I admired you immensely, for you were one of the few people who had the knowledge, sharpness, decisiveness, and a strong points of view. Though we started on the opposite side sometimes in 2009, holding shares that neither of us wanted to part with. Yet, we became partners in our attempt to acquire Air India just few years later. And the days and nights we spent preparing for our bid, innumerable cups of coffees in your Delhi farm office, the dreams we dreamt together, and your incisive reading of balance sheets, financial statements, and countless structures. I was always confused because you had a new structure every day, and half the time I won't understand. That was you, Harpal. There wasn't another one like you. And the world thought we were mad. Yes, we were mad because we dreamt together. How many times, Harpal, you and I discussed about your worries about Amer not joining the work, and you would say that he's distracted, and my answer always was, look, he's very young. Give him some time, and you are being unrealistic. Now when I think about it, I wish he had remained distracted for some more time. Maybe he would have been with us. Amer, we saw you grow up from a young kid to a mature, transformed, adult, young lad. I remember you lost your polo kit at Delhi airport last winter when you traveled with Meher from London. And I remember you were very frustrated, but yet very calm. That memory of you is etched in my mind. You made Simar and Meher laugh so much with your silly jokes. They miss you, Amer. They miss you dearly. Harpal, each time you meet me, there would be one standard question. Sir, for some reason you used to call me sir. Sir, I need to learn from you to simplify my life. And I would just laugh it away, saying, Harpal, there is no formula except doing lesser things. Yet, every time we would meet, we would both repeat the same dialogues. Or many messages, exchanges almost every day kept us connected wherever you were. Harpal, I'll personally miss you. I must have checked my WhatsApp several times since your news came last week. And I'm hoping that you are online. I still hope you're online and I can speak to you, I can message you, Harpal. Harpal, you were bold, unconventional, which reflected in the choices you made. There isn't going to be another one like you. You were a family's favorite person. Your enthusiastic guidance to both her daughters, Simar and Meher, made you their special uncle. When Meher was applying for her college applications a few years back, you immediately jumped in with enthusiasm, sharing notes, innumerable phone calls. You couriered books to read. And I remember when Meher would say, Uncle and I are supposed to speak, I would say very early, she would say, no, he never sleeps. And yes, Harpal, I always found that you were available to each one of us 24/7. I, Alka, and girls have enjoyed many evenings spent with you, and especially few times I remember when Amer would make fun of your eating idiosyncrasies. Our memories of time spent with you in your home in Panzano are etched forever. I will miss you, my brother. May you and Amer rest together. I will always love you, always have memories, and remember the things you taught me. Love you always. Rest in peace, my brother.
Harpal was a true friend. His greatest gift to me was his time, his clear and honest advice. I would call him at all hours, on all subjects, on all matters. He would listen and he would give me clear, simple, straightforward
advice. And I loved that. Now I hear I wasn't the only one. He did this for everyone. He had time for everyone. What a fantastic trait. So I will miss him terribly. I'll miss that ability to call. And God knows we all have problems every day. Last time we met, not less than a month ago, he was excitedly telling me how proud he was of Amer. And what an exceptional and bright young man he turned into. That he was going to take over from him in a year, maybe two. And then Harpal could retire. Not that he'd really retire, but it was wonderful. So I'm doubly sad for them. But most importantly, Sean, my heart goes out to you. Please remember, just as Harpal always had time for me to listen, to advise, I will always have time for you. I'm a phone call away, a WhatsApp away. As they say, reach out and I'll be there. God bless you and the whole family.
Sean, Mataji, Ikru, all family members, my colleagues from the Rio Group, friends and relatives. I had a privilege of knowing Harpal for 2 decades and work shoulder on shoulder with him for last 5 years. There was not a single day when we would not have spoken for about 7 times. I would always allocate about 3 hours a day in calls and talk with Harpal. Sheer dynamo, powerhouse, visionary, so precise in his talk, so meticulous in his work, and so adventurous. The kind of proposals that he brings for discussion, I would say, Harpal, why? And he says, Ajay, at this stage of my life, I want only adventure, big businesses, and only multipliers. Now I have forgotten what is addition in life. What a vision, what a vision. Harpal was passionate about the operations in Zimbabwe. 6 months back he pulled me and I used to come every fortnight for a fortnight to shoulder on with him on the improvements in Zimbabwe operations. He had great dreams, and I was amazed when he said that in spite of 45% drop in diamond price, 30% drop in gold price, I could never see any distress or frustration in him. He was always with a war cry saying, we are going to double the production. We are going to increase the capacity of mine. Not even single man will lose job in my organization because I am going to double the job business. He was a vision, and I believe the vision never dies. Vision always continues, and vision will continue. I, on behalf of the Rio Group management, staff, employees, and associates, would like to ensure Sean and family that we are still continuing with that vision, and that vision shall be fulfilled with the board of directors giving support and the employees going all out. We want now employees to come with a double energy, vigor, to see that his big dreams are fulfilled. We are always here to support Sean, and we will always remain a part of the mega family that Harpal has built.
I would also bring as a surprise to the people who have spoken about his relationship, friendship, and ability to work. To my 40 years career, I have not seen a man as honest in business, never willing to bribe anybody in spite of operating in underworld countries. So many temptations, so many proposals, but he would not even agree to bribe $1. And he always says that at this age, without bribing anybody, if I could build $1 billion organization, why should I bribe now at this end of? I will salute him for this spirit, that relentlessly working hard. 6 o'clock in the morning he will call up, same energy. 11:30 at night he calls up, same energy. I don't know how did he derive this kind of passion for his dreams. And I'm sure his dreams will always keep chasing us and pushing us to move forward. Thank you very much.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am shattered at this moment that I have to speak about Harpal Bhai and Amer, that they are not here. And there is a poem which I am going to narrate. It is with deep sadness that I am standing here today and sharing words about a person who has meant a whole lot, not just to me, but my family. There was not a person who was not taken aback from the charm and charisma of Harpal had. He had a knack for entering a room and commanding attention. And somehow, no matter how old or young a person was sitting across from him, he was to engage them in whatever conversation and make them feel incredibly important. He made philosophical discussion with my son about the works of Baba Bulle Shah seemed just as important as teaching my 6-year-old grandson how to properly use chopsticks. Harpal was one of those people who made their presence known and would show up for his friend and family in a way like no other. He was there for my family during an incredibly difficult time. And though he had a million things on his mind, he always found time to check in. He was a listening ear, a thoughtful advisor, and would make even the toughest storm seem conquerable. Today I have lost a brother and a beautiful budding young boy. We are going to miss him and our dear son Amer dearly. Both of them gone too soon. I pray that God embarrasses them and they find a peaceful final resting place. Thank you, Auntie Ji, for giving us Harpal. And thank you, Shan and Wali, for giving us Amer. May God bless you and be with you. This is a poem, it is in Urdu. आंख मिलाकर नहीं गया, रुखसत हुआ तो आंख मिलाकर नहीं गया, वो क्यों गया है ये भी बताकर नहीं गया, वो यूं गया कि बादे सबा याद आ गई, एहसास तक भी हमको दिलाकर नहीं गया, यूं लग रहा है जैसे अभी लौट आएगा, जाते हुए चिराग बुझाकर नहीं गया, बस एक लकीर खींच गया दरमियान में, दीवार रास्ते में बनाकर नहीं गया, शायद वो मिल ही जाए मगर जुस्तजू है शर्त, वो अपने नक्शे पा तो मिटाकर नहीं गया, घर में है आज तक वही खुशबू बसी हुई, लगता है यूं कि जैसे वो आकर नहीं गया, तब तक तो फूल जैसी ही ताज़ा थी इसकी याद, जब तक वो पत्तियों को जुदा कर नहीं गया। रहने दिया ना इसने किसी काम का मुझे, रहने दिया ना इसने किसी काम का मुझे, खाक में भी मुझको मिलाकर नहीं गया। वैसी ही तलब है अभी मेरी जिंदगी, वो खारो खस में आग लगाकर नहीं गया। ये गिला ही रहा बस इसकी ज़ात से, ये गिला ही रहा बस इसकी ज़ात से, जाते हुए वो कोई गिला करके नहीं गया। रुखसत हुआ तो आंख मिलाकर नहीं गया, वो क्यों गया है ये भी बताकर नहीं गया। थैंक यू सो मच।
I stand in front of all of you today to share my story of two incredible men. Harpal was known as Chiku in our family. But those who don't know what a Chiku is, it is the sweetest fruit and has the most beautiful seeds, dark black and shiny, just like polished ebony. It is my favorite fruit, and in my grandmother's garden we have a large tree that is generously provides us with delicious gifts, just like Chiku Mamaji did all his life. We are reminded of him every day with his bounty, and thanks to all the love and kind words we received about him, Chikus will taste even sweeter. Chiku Mamaji was my sukuru, and I was his musukuru. So I feel out of everyone in the world, Zimbabweans can understand best just how sacred our bond was. When I needed to convince my mother of something, I would call Chiku Mamaji. If he needed something done, he could always rely on me to do it just the way he wanted. Every conversation with him, every walk we did, every meal we shared, he took it as an opportunity to teach me and help me grow. Obsessed with education, he shared articles, case studies, videos all the time. If there was a phone call I could learn from, he'd call me even if it was at 2 a.m. to sit in and listen. When I needed advice for my business, he was the first person I would call, and I spent my life feeling invincible, because if he ever needed him or any help, especially in a fight, he always had our back. The most important gift he gave me was my younger brother, Amer. Amer was my brother because Chiku Mamaji always called me his first son and my sister his first daughter. He loved her immeasurably and was always too happy to remind everyone that she was the best of all of us, even him. After Amer was my baby brother, I taught him how to throw a punch, how to take on bullies, just like Chiku Mamaji did for me in business. Amer used to get lectured by me on how to do good and be good, the same way my nani, our boya, taught me. He was incredibly handsome, amazingly smart, and he has the purest smart heart. That heart of his is what made it impossible for me to not prioritize Amer whenever he needed me, be it writing personal statements for school or protecting him from the harshest of disciplines that some in the family considered. I understood Amer, and I was so incredibly proud of the man he had become. He had found Mira. She was his inspiration. After the pandemic, when I needed to focus on my startup and my studies at Oxford, I called him and entrusted him with the most important duty of all, to take care of our grandma, and he rose to the occasion. Every time he was with her, I'd get a call from her and we'd all catch up and conversations would last hours. Amer had finally found his voice. He was wearing his armor. Our grandma couldn't have been more proud. Amer was ready to take on the world. We all loved Amer, and we especially loved his passion for life. Between Chiku Mamaji, him and I, there was that similarity, but being the eldest, I was in the middle, and thus I felt uneasy to witness Amer's adventures, even if I felt they were tame. You see, I couldn't ever keep anything from my Chiku Mamaji. I would literally have to hide because if he ever asked the question, he knew I would tell him everything. There's a lot of tough love in our family, and Chico Mamji was very tough on me. Considering the path I have chosen, it's a gift that very few can truly understand. He demanded a lot, and thanks to that, I learned the most important lesson in life: how to work hard and how to love work. My life is work, and my work is life. He loved me immensely, but wishing to teach me how to build my dreams in the face of adversity, compliments were rare. You had to know him to understand that my learning to live on €2 a day in Lisbon, to him, was a life achievement. So I'm grateful to Amer for telling me that Chico Mamji thought I worked hard. Instead, giving people time was how he showed his affection, and I know we can all appreciate his big heart and how much he loved us all. When we worked together in Zimbabwe, the country where he was most at home, it was one of the best times of my life. Sitting side by side in his study, working every weekend, getting on calls with him and learning from him was the most in sync we had ever been. I've lived most of my teenage years under his roof in London, but there is no substitute for being with my Chico Mamji, working and learning together every day. I understood how he thought, and I knew exactly what his mood was based on the 3 ways he messaged okay. Amer and I bonded on these things. His life, filled with emerging markets, entrepreneurship, and helping others, is the life that I work towards building for myself. He opened the world to me, and though I am who I am because of my boyas, my future success I owe to my dear Sukuru. For so many of us, especially in the family and close friends, our world has now changed. But Chico Mamji and Amer live in our hearts. They continue to guide us, and even though today is our darkest hour, they bring us together as one people and one family. So thank you for coming. And as my last act, I ask you to please join me in my salute to my general and his second in command. In the words of our Sikh tradition, Bole Sonehan! Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Everyone who's joined us in person and online, we are very grateful. On behalf of Harpal and Amer's family, friends, Sean and Dadi, I extend my gratitude for all of you for being here. So we have received a lot of love from all around the world. So while we continue playing the tributes, we invite you for some tea and refreshments, and Sean and family are also going to be there for those who want to pay your respects. Thank you all so much for coming.
Sean, I wish I can tell you in my heart so much sadness we have, but I know you know that I can't speak right for this. But please know I have always loved you, Harpal and Amer. You have no. It is so sad to myself that I can't really put my actual words in this.
Sean, I know you know how difficult this is for Frank to say what he just said. It comes from the bottom of his huge heart, and I'm proud of him for being able to try and tell you, and I think you know more than anybody how much Frank cares. Sean, we pray that the love from all of us who share your pain and your loss can help power you on. Our words seem meaningless, but our prayers are not. This is inspired by a favorite Irish poet, Yeats, of course. My Irishman and I want to share these words with you now. In the quiet of twilight, as the stars begin to gleam, we gather to remember two lives well lived. Like the silver threads of moonlight weaving through the night, their memory weaves through our hearts a tapestry of love and dreams. Though they have journeyed beyond the horizon, their light remains in the twinkle of the evening sky, reminding us they are never truly gone. So we tread softly in their memory, for they left us with the richness of their dreams, and we carry them with us as we journey through our own. Strength to you from both of us, Sean. We love you. God bless.
Sean, I wish I can tell you in my...
Dearest Auntie Sean, the entire family, sending you lots and lots and lots of love and our deepest, deepest condolences. Harpal uncle definitely was a tour de force, a force of nature, a vivacious energy, a curiously but brilliant, brilliant intellectual mind, a knowledge bank, but above all, a doting father, husband, mentor, friend, confidant. These are all the things that I'll never forget. His voice reverberates as I kind of speak to you now. Larger than life character, and embraced everybody and everything with his own wit, charm, panache. A phenomenal, phenomenal friend. Forever treasured and deeply, deeply loved. Love you lots.
I can clearly hear Uncle Harpal's voice in my head. Memories of him saying repeatedly, "I'm so proud of you. Aren't you so proud of her? Your parents must be so proud of you. They must be over the moon. You are a shining star, my darling." He would say these words to me repeatedly from my high school days over a decade ago to now. He had a phenomenal way of connecting with youngsters, such as myself, and making us feel like we were on top. He had such a genuine and kind manner, and was always smiling and ready for a laugh. I did an internship with him at the Rio Zim Foundation during high school, and in my college years he helped me to get an internship at a place where I first realized true joy and passion for engineering. And before, in between, and after these events, he was a very sweet and supportive uncle to me. We would see each other at lunches and dinners, and we would always make some time to chat on the side and catch up. And ever since I left home, he hasn't missed a single one of my birthdays. Such a thoughtful and lovely man. I'm truly grateful for having known him. And Amer was such an incredible young man. I remember seeing him when I was last home about 8 months ago. And I just remember feeling so impressed with him, thinking about how proud his parents must be. Uncle Harpal and Amer will live on through the countless people that loved them. And sharing all of my love with Auntie Sean and with Uncle Harpal's mom.
Dear Sean, our heartfelt condolences on this very painful period we are facing. My condolences, Rishi, Shanil, Yogesh, and all and from entire Mehta family, our heartfelt condolences on this very tragic times we are facing in our lives. as for talking about Harpal, there are innumerable, unaccountable things I can talk. But what comes mainly is doting father, loving husband, and what a fabulous son and friend or family to us, not like a family. He was a family to us. Amer, our baby's son. We really will miss him, his genius, his generosity, his ability to solve any kind of problems as easy as a breeze. There is one thing I would say, he never wavered from any of his responsibilities, any problems. He was just one of the most helpful human being we could have come across in our lives. Certainly a blessing, a gift to all your family and to us. I pray to Almighty to give peace and calm to the departed souls and way forward, peaceful way forward to you and the entire family.